All right, guys, good morning. Good morning. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of GAR Capital. Thanks so much for taking the time out of your day to join me this morning and every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is August 30th, 2022. If you like these videos and enjoy them daily, make sure to hit that like button. Don't forget, quick little click of your mouse. Doesn't take longer than a second to do it. Appreciate that. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on the little bell icon or whatever that is. That's to turn on notifications for all new content that is coming out. More great things to come. Still working on some of the graphic stuff with the tech team. So a little cleaner version of the morning note and future videos will be coming. So hopefully that gets done very soon. Let's go ahead and talk about the market. The Dow is up 107. It's off its highs. The highs today were up 230. Nasdaq futures up 0.60%. The highs were up 1%. Earlier this morning, 4047 on the S&P futures up 0.41%. Russell 2000 up 0.28% at 1888. 10-year treasury yields pulling back a little bit, 3.103. Dollar index is red, 108.67. The VIX is red, 2.17% to the downside, 25.64. We'll take a look at that too. Crude oil down 2.22%, 90.47, kind of hovering around 95. Is it time to start putting in our position in terms of energy? Remember when we took profit on Chevron. Down 3% on gasoline futures, $2.62. Natural gas futures up 0.17%. Even the dollar down is not helping commodities. Gold is down 0.39%. Silver down 0.83%. Copper down 1.15%. Euro dollar again above parity, 1.0013. And the dollar yen is down 20 pips, 138.50. Bitcoin still hovering around above 20,000, 20,270. Ethereum 1559 this morning. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Well, let's go ahead and bring up the S&P futures and what happened yesterday and kind of what's happening this morning. So we're back to the daily chart. You're probably looking at the RSI and you read the headline saying end of the month rally. Well, it won't be that much of an end of the month rally since it's today and tomorrow. So something. I do believe that we'll rally, not too much, but bounce up a little bit. My target for by the end of the week is 40.85. Not exactly super bullish, but something. So let's go and take a look at it. Look at this RSI here. Again, I'm not a huge fan of RSI, but again, in the thesis of a rally, again, we're just talking about oversold conditions, which we had before. If I go ahead and remove this line, let's go ahead and remove this line here. Let's see if I can get this going. Move drawing. And you can see the reason I drew this line is that back at RSI, we're right around 42, 43, 42, 43 being the last support that we had right around mid-July where we actually broke out. So again, if we go by that line here, we're right at that RSI support, which lines up pretty nicely with that 50-day moving average, which we tapped and bounced above. So again, we're kind of fighting that 100-day moving average now. Again, the last thing we want to do, again, if you're a stock market bull, is for these two, for the blue line, which is the 100-day, to break below the 50-day. That we don't want. But either way, what we do want is the fact that we want this to settle above. So again, the key close today is if we close above 40.64. So we're going to keep that in the back of our head. But why the target of 40.85, Carlos? Let's go to the hourly. And again, that's a 61.8 fib extension. That's really it. We're still relatively midpoint of RSI on the hourly. Again, that should get us around 60 if we get to around 485, which I just believe that we're going to tap there. So I guess end of the month rally doesn't sound that great. But in terms of the bull case, I say that we go back to the daily. Really the level that I'm looking for if we're going to get some really bullish momentum, at least after an oversold bounce, which naturally can happen. 485, and then I'll give it the level of around 4161, which is pretty highly probably not going to happen in my opinion. But again, if we can get to around 4100, I think I would consider that a W because that'll get us right here to around this consolidation period here. The last time we did have that, we did have a fall. But again, if you kind of want to look at something interesting, you can kind of see a type of inverse head and shoulders. So again, we had the breakdown below that shoulder. Remember, we had the breakout above it on the hourly. I talked about that yesterday. Again, if we can get above 41.79, get back to this trend line, man, no harm, no foul. That'd be really nice. That can get us prompt ready for a possible fall rally too. But again, it really depends on the Fed. We got to read a lot of data points. But again, just on a technical basis, 485 is my target for downside. Again, if we do break below 4015, 3900 is pretty much a lock for me. So I will be ready to buy stocks at that level. Let's go ahead and talk about the volatility index. We'll go ahead and take away this here. This is the study of RSI. We'll go ahead and remove it here on Thinkorswim. There we go. Here we are on the daily, broke below the 100, but we have no gap to fill at least. So again, what we're looking for here is a retest of the trend line. But before we go there, cowboy, we need to get to 2486. If we get to 2486, that should get us to around near 4070 or so S&P. So really the target where we're looking for if we want to get that 4085 level is around 2417, which I think we do this week anyways. After that, remember, next week, Monday, the markets are closed. It is Labor Day. So we'll see what happens then. But in terms of volatility index, it's still elevated. It's still above that trend line on the daily, that daily support. But we need 2427 to really start cooking to the upside. Let's take a look at yields. Yields are starting to reject that 3165 resistance, as you can see. That's the resistance I have here. We still have that head and shoulders setup where we dip down, tested support of 2575. We bounced. We have a gap to fill here at 2895. That'd really be nice for us bulls. If we're expecting a stock market run of some kind. 2890, that'll get us a 2.89, so sub 3. That'd be very nice for risk assets. Let's take a look at the dollar as well. Dollar rejecting that trend line, very, very key. Again, run at 109.38, 110 being that big round number theory number that we all want to watch. And I think a lot of traders are watching that 110 level. Double top so far. Let's see if we can maybe retest that trend line here of 105 and hopefully break it. That'll be great for risk assets. So we're looking at the dollar, we're looking at the VIX, obviously, as always, and we're looking at yields. Those three are key if you're watching this market. Let's take a look at crude oil now. Crude oil, now we're going to talk about investing. Crude oil, again, we had a nice push yesterday. We had that break of 95, settled above it. That was what I was looking for to go long on crude oil. Again, the reason I'm looking for it is really just the actual setup here of this trend line to the downside. Nice breakout above it. That's exactly what I was looking for. 95 was the key, the 100-day moving average. So now, with that being said, do we run out and buy this dip in crude oil? Well, let's see what we can get. I like Chevron the most. So again, I will ease into my position. If I can get to around 160, 189 or so, I think I will pull the trigger on Chevron with a nice, decent yield. A good target if you are a short-term trader on this Chevron position would be about 173.69, the gap fill. There you can take away your initial investment and just ride the profits higher if you like. That's always nice. Or you could just hold, or you could just sell. Just depends. But that would be my first target once we get to that 100-day on the hourly. And again, 173.60 or so. That'd be a good point to either want to take profits, take out your initial investment, let the investments ride, or just leave it alone, because it doesn't matter. You want to own Chevron long term. It's a great company to own. And oil and gas is not going anywhere, no matter what anyone says. It's a fact. Let's go ahead and talk real quick about why oil is down. It was a headline from the Iraqis saying that their most recent issues or some kind of political issues or Exxon escalates. No, that's not what I was looking for, but that's one part of it. Where is that exactly? Let's see. Where is that Iraqi news? Here we go. Brent crude oil futures down. This is from an hour ago. 3.5% follow Iraqi state oil firm comments that country's oil exports operations were not affected by most recent protest. So there you go. And then one other part that is hurting oil here, it has to do with Russia. And it has to do with Exxon. This was about 3 hours ago. Exxon escalates dispute with Russia over barred exit from giant oil project. So that's where energy is coming down a bit. So that gives us a possible opportunity to look at Chevron for at least a swing trade, if not a investment. Last time we traded or we invested in Chevron, we made 19% on it or so. So not a bad trade. Oil has been pretty decent to us while we go here. Let's go ahead and answer some questions. Thoughts on semis? Let's go ahead and break it down. Semis here. We'll go to the SMH, which is the Semiconductor ETF. We'll go ahead and expand a little bit to the daily. And the daily looks like we're coming to some support here. So again, getting a bounce here was not out of the realm of reality. If you are looking to possibly buy some semiconductors, again, NVIDIA, Qualcomm, AMD, not in that order, are my favorites to go. Still broke out of this downward trend here on NVIDIA. Really what we're looking for is possibly that gap fill of around one. Oh, I did fill. Perfect. So we filled the gap, we bounced. We have one more here on the 4-hour. Let's take a look at the daily. Any gaps to fill here? We got, nope, no gaps. So that's already removed. Too bad it moved yesterday morning. In terms of the market yesterday, really what we had was nothing. After this big Sunday fall, overnight, we had a nice bounce and then a fade, and now we're bouncing overnight, and here we are. Back to AMD. AMD has a gap to fill right around 88.95 on the 1-hour. On the daily, anything times of support. You got to be careful here. I would not add to AMD. It has to hold 85. That's really the level you're looking for. If it doesn't hold 85, you're going to get back to the range of around 83 to 70 because you could see this downward channel here. Going to Qualcomm, which I love the yield, by the way. My level to buy more is 133.74. There is a gap to fill here at 128.33. So I'm going to go ahead and lower my price target to buy Qualcomm here to this gap fill. Once that gap does fill, we'll bounce. Is there any support here on Qualcomm? Really is around 134. Let's see if it holds it. We're trading at 138.60. I love semis long term. In terms of technicals, you can see there is some weakness there, obviously. Any big macro news coming September? Yep, we have CPI, we have non-farm payroll, and we got the Fed, core PCE. Think of it as a regular month. No Jackson Hole, but we do have an FOMC meeting, and Powell will be speaking again. We have retail sales, inflation numbers, all that fun stuff. So September is a full month of information that we need. And of course, don't forget a good old OPEX. Nasdaq resistance. Let's see it. Right now, the Nasdaq resistance is the 50-day moving average on the hourly so far, around 12,595. A break of that would show continuation. If we take a look at the daily, that's right at the 100-day. That is at 12,634. So let's go ahead and put that alert for us. That is your resistance short term. Support is 12,400, kind of the same level where ES is. If you take a look at that 50-day moving average where we bounced off of around 4,000 or 413. That's where we're looking at. But again, in terms of resistance, you're taking a look at that moving average on the daily, the 100-day. That's your key level to break. If we do, then I would target 12.9 and see if we can get out. But that's where we are today. Have a great rest of your morning. I will catch you guys tomorrow for the morning note. Have a great trading day, and make sure to hit that like button if you like these videos. Thanks again, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers.